Welcome to Browning's Flower Truck First IGTV. I wanted to get on here to address the elephant in the room that is the cost of wedding flowers. I really think that brides deserve to know exactly what it is that they are getting and they're paying for. And there's not enough transparency in the floral industry as a whole of the ins and outs of everything that we do to meet your goals and meet your vision. So, bear with me while I try and break down every detail of what we do before you actually see the flowers at your ceremony. My disclaimer is we have only been in business a year and a half. We don't have tons of weddings under our belt. So I'm sure there's a lot more that more experienced florists could add to this video, but this is just what I have learned thus far. So when I first started doing this, I got sticker shock and I was even nervous to present to brides, like, well, in your consultation, this is what your flowers are going to cost you. Because I've never been a bride myself, so I didn't know how much it was going to cost. And I know I personally couldn't afford certain things that people were looking for. It was almost embarrassing. And then as I got a little bit more experience and did more weddings, I actually started realizing you're not charging enough. And here's the reason why. It is extremely labor intensive and there is so much that goes into it. So, brides to be, work with me here, stick around, and I'm going to do my best to hopefully make you feel like what you've paid for with any wedding florist is of value to you. So, the very first thing is you're going to email us, right? You're going to email us. You want to inquire about pricing. You want to send us your Pinterest board. This is your vision. This is the venue. This is what we need. X number of centerpieces, bridal party, etc. So probably numerous emails are exchanged. And the majority of florists that I know, we have multiple jobs. And so we're taking our time out to sit down and work on your emails, to work up your vision, to get a rough price quote to you without you having booked us yet. We look at your Pinterest, and I mean, we literally will be counting how many garden roses, how many hydrangeas, how many half a bunch of eucalyptus is in that centerpiece that you're sending us, in that one picture of the 20 that we need to evaluate. The arbor piece, is that an 8-foot arbor? Is that a 10-foot arbor? Is it a swag piece in the corner? You know, how can I take this little picture on my phone and figure out and calculate a rough estimate of what it might cost you? And then once you book with us and you put down your retainer and we have a consultation, then we iron out all the details. Okay, so we have multiple exchanges throughout the entire course of the year with you about your wedding florals. We then take your color palette, we examine which flowers are available at that time seasonally to match that palette or those specific flowers, how they're going to be shipped. Some flowers need to be flown in, some flowers are going to be locally grown, some flowers are going to be shipped in on trucking and transport. So you have to think about all of that. And then you make your formulas. So I have an extensive spreadsheet, Excel spreadsheet of like 12 different pages of, you know, installs, bridal party, reception, extras, and I take those formulas and I input it for every single thing. And then I have to calculate everything out, make sure it adheres to my budget and your budget. Also consider the cost of labor, the cost of driving, the cost of mileage, design, extra staffing, and let's not even get into the idea of whether or not you're a farmer florist, because if that's the case, then you're also crop planning, purchasing seeds a year in advance. That's like a whole nother video in and of itself. So we're going to send off that spreadsheet and those numbers and those totals to your wholesale rep, or you're working independently, or to some local farmers that you're working with, flower farmers. And at that point, then the week of your wedding, that's when the real work starts. So you have to make sure that you have all of your tools necessary. So, do you have enough boutonniere pins? Do you have enough corsage boxes? Do you have enough floral glue? Do you have enough floral tape, zip ties, chicken wire? If you use flower foam, do you have enough Oasis foam? Do you have, the Holly Chapel pillows for your centerpieces? Have you pre-ordered your ribbon? Sometimes you have to order ribbon a month in advance if it's like that high-end ribbon in the color palette. Do you have enough for the entire bridal party? Have you specially purchased vases? Have you rented vases for this wedding? Compile all of your things. You're going to sterilize all of your buckets. For me, I'm driving over an hour to go to the wholesaler and several other farmers. I usually go to 4 different places to either stock our flower truck or to get our wedding florals. And so then I have to come back, and processing is huge. So at that point, you have to cut all of the stems, strip the leaves, unwrap, unbox, take everything out of plastic. You have to condition your stems, so you're putting Floral Life in the water. We need to make sure that all of this is temperature controlled. And then if you get anything like peonies or roses, those things need time to bloom out before you make anything, before you put them in a bouquet. So you're going to have to do this several days in advance. Then you have all of the design, like the actual hours and hours and late nights in the studio where you're putting all of the centerpieces together, the mechanics, the bouquets. I mean, you just, that itself is, it's great, it's wonderful, it's creative, but it's some late nights. And then we have the entire piece of transportation. So we invested in a Seminole system, which is like a pegboard system so that nothing shifts in transport. Are we driving an hour away to a wedding venue? Once we get there, we not only have to deliver it in a timely fashion, because usually photographers want things early for those detail shots. They want the loose florals, the Baker Nature florals to put on the cake. The brides may be doing a pre-look, first look, and so they need their wedding party florals before the ceremony starts. So look at this, I'm getting so nervous. So you get there, you have to set everything up, you have to set up the ceremony, you have to set up the reception, and then if you're doing anything custom on site, which the majority of arbors are built on site, you then have to lay down your tarps, get your ladder, get your brooms, get your buckets, and you're under pressure and under fire to create some massive and elaborate piece in the time frame that you're allotted before the ceremony, but while also setting everything up. And let's say we drove 2 hours to do all this. Your ceremony and reception is typically 4 hours. So we have to come back and break everything down as well. I wrote a list of all of my notes, and I just wanted to let me go over it really quick to make sure that of course I didn't get everything. This is, it's a lot. It's by no means am I complaining. I love my job. But I just feel like maybe hopefully as a future bride one day, and with all the brides that I work with, I really cherish and value the relationship that I create with them, and I really take to heart making their vision come to life and being creative and having that budget for that creativity and to make things happen. And so I just hope that if you find this video, if it comes across your feed, I'm sure I haven't mentioned anything. I haven't even talked about all the farmers and all the work on their end that goes to produce those flowers just to get it to maybe the wholesaler. But I just pray that this gives you a little bit of insight into, one, all the work that a florist really does for you to make your vision come to life, and two, I hope that you find a little bit more value in the investment that you make for your wedding florals and for your special day. I hope that helps. Thanks for sticking around.